Another game at home, another victory for the Colorado Avalanche. 14 straight now at Ball Arena, including 16-0-2 in their first 18 contests to start off the season. The last team to do that well, the 22-23 Bruins, who set all sorts of regular season records. The Avs did not have their best this evening. They were sloppy at best. The power play was, again, a negative, not just in the fact that they didn't score, but, well, there was a shorthanded goal scored against, and it doesn't matter. They still walk away with a 5-2 victory. Nathan MacKinnon, 2 points. Brock Nelson gets a goal and an assist in this one, too. Mackenzie Blackwood, just 2 goals against, despite LA coming real hard at the end of that game, Spring, as we welcome you into Between the Pipes. They continue to win even when they don't have their best. It's incredible.
Hey, before we go anywhere else, prayers up to Nikola Jokic.
Yep. That's the most, honestly, that's the most important thing that happened in Denver this
season. The most important thing that has happened tonight. He is the best player in the NBA. I love Nathan MacKinnon, and I love Cale Makar. But Nikola Jokic is the definition of a unicorn. And if the Nuggets lose him, holy shit, their season is over. It's fucking done.
And you don't have a first round pick, and that would be devastating.
And there's 30 first round picks don't make up for that man. I will say, man, what a fluky, weird play. I don't see a torn ACL there. Maybe I'm being overly optimistic.
I don't think so either. I think it's a hyperextension that, I don't know, like, Vic sent out a tweet earlier today, and we're going to get to the Avs and the Kings. I promise. It's just,
they beat the LA Kings, who are mid as fuck. The LA Kings are mid. They're mid. Okay.
Nikola Jokic's knee might be in danger. That's all that matters right now. It didn't look as bad as the Cam Johnson hyperextension. Certainly not nearly as bad.
When Cam went down, I was like, oh no. But it turns out it's a bone bruise. When you look at the Cam's highlight looks like a torn ACL. Jokic's highlight looks like a bone bruise. So, are we living in Bizarro world?
Vic tweeted out, he goes, if you told me 4 to 6 weeks for Nikola Jokic, I'd sign on the dotted line tonight.
I would take it all day. I did not see.
There's a great chance it's not even near 4 to 6 weeks either.
I didn't see a torn ACL on that play. Now, maybe it was, because these things are so stupid and dumb. And again, as we, look, prayers up to Nikola Jokic. You lose him, your season's over, and we don't want that. He's we have blessings in this city. It's Jokic, it's McKinnon, it's Makar. Jokic his game is so next level.
Yeah.
That, it is the story tonight. But I referenced, in terms of the Avalanche, they've had 14 players play every single game this season. Injury luck is absolutely a part of it. As far as this Avs game tonight, Raj, Anton Forsberg is starting in net for the LA Kings. You win this game.
Yep.
That's what you do. It's almost an inevitable outcome. And the Avs got it done. They played extremely well tonight. They played very well tonight. Barring injury, the Avs are just going to do their thing. Now, the Nuggets have a little bit of a different scenario because Oklahoma City is the defending champs and they're in their prime. The San Antonio Spurs have beaten the Thunder 3 straight games, and the Spurs are up and coming. There is kind of a log jam. I look at those 3 teams. I think Houston is formidable. I think the Lakers, if Austin Reeves is healthy, are formidable. The Wolves are there. They're good. I know they've had the Nuggets number. There's a log jam in the Western Conference. You need Nikola Jokic. In the NHL, now the Avs have only played Dallas once. Dallas is that team, and they got the Avs in overtime. That's one of their 2 beyond regulation losses at home this season, Carolina and Dallas. And those are 2 teams that you'd look at and you'd say, okay, yeah. And what's funny about that Dallas game is they outplayed Dallas in that game. They were the better team, but they lose beyond regulation. Colorado is so good, and they've had great injury luck. It's a huge thing. You know, you lose a guy, you lose a McKinnon, you lose a McCarr. It's done. It's done. And you see, you know, our lives flash before our eyes with Jokic tonight. Fortunately, the Avs have been able to stay healthy. And if they do, I know Dallas is very good, but this team it's just on a different level right now.
It is. It feels like a team on a mission. They have something to prove. They're very clearly frustrated with what's going on in the power play. Like, it's not something that they're okay with just because they're a wagon and they've now won, what is it, 14 of 16 games at home? No, sorry, 16 of 18 games at home. And those other two losses, as you mentioned, and as we've mentioned many times so far in the show tonight, just coming in overtime or in a shootout. They're not comfortable with the fact that the power play sucks. It's so clearly eating at them because it's not only not producing goals, but it's actively hurting you on the scoreboard. The Kevin Fiala shorthanded goal tonight was a weak one from Blackwood. I thought the gap from Cale Makar wasn't great. McKinnon's turnover certainly wasn't something that helps you. I hope they'll eventually figure it out. It's gotten slightly better, but slightly better is still quite awful at this point. You just hope that it's not their Achilles heel that kills them in the playoffs like it was last season. Now, the Avs last year weren't nearly as dominant in every other facet of the game as this year's version is, right? They were good. They weren't leagues away the best 5-on-5 team in the NHL. They weren't the number one penalty kill team in the NHL. So I wonder if you play the same Dallas series from last year and you still have a worthless power play, which it was last April, do you even get through Dallas because of how good they are everywhere else this season? I would think yes, but I don't want to leave it to chance.
I thought that their first power play tonight, they were moving it. They were getting good looks. Nate just found himself on the right side, and he looked dangerous over there, which is where he's going to have to occupy. He's going to have to float. It's what he's going to have to do. 0 for 4 tonight, though. And, you know, at a certain point, it has got to get going. But look, the injury luck is a real thing. Tonight is, you know, across sports, it is an indication of how important it is. And sans the power play, 5-on-5, when this team is, you know, just when they're healthy and they're on their game, they're so good that the power play, which is inexplicable, it is inexplicable with the talent that is out there, how poor it has been. But despite it being as porous as it has been, they have 2 regulation losses on the season, and they are 16-0-2 at home. That is how good this team is. It is almost, I want to say, inevitable that the power play will get going because of the talent. The talent should eventually even out. Now, I brought you guys through some of the I wouldn't say nerd stats, nose picker stats, but a little bit more in depth on the power play. They're shooting the puck. People are like, oh, they don't shoot the puck on the power play. No, they actually statistically shoot the puck more than anybody else in the National Hockey League when they're up 5-on-4. They have the most shots on goal and the most shot attempts in the NHL on the power play. So they do shoot the puck. Their shooting percentage on the power play is second to last in the league. And that's where it goes to die. So what those numbers tell me is that most things in professional sports, and certainly in the NHL, most things come back to the mean. And I think Colorado will eventually get there. Now, does it mean you keep trotting out the same things? No. I was very, very heartened to hear Jared Bednar in his post-game comments talk about the power play 2 unit that got 3 separate opportunities of 45 seconds or more tonight. And he went, they looked a little bit more dangerous. I wonder if he's going to get to the point where he just goes,
I'm going to play you guys first. And damn, if Nate is pissed off at me, show me you guys can score on the power play. I'm waiting for that moment for Jared to throw power play 2 out when Nate and Kale are completely healthy and just go, well, they're more dangerous than you right now. Again, it is first world problems. They are so freaking good, and they just continue to win despite the power play. But that's the one thing that I can nitpick at.
Because when power play 2 is out there, look, they're in their traditional set. Lekkonen's in the bumper, Nichushkin is net front, Olofsson is far right, Taves is at the point, and then whoever Brinley far left, or whoever it may be. You know, I honestly think that there's an overthinking going on power play 1, because Nate and Natchez are out there at the same time, and there's too much movement, and there's too much, where are you going to occupy? Where are you going to be? When power play 2 is out there, everyone knows their role. Everyone knows their spot, and they're not as talented. But one of the keys to the power play is knowing your spot and occupying your position. And when power play 1 is out there, there's just too much rotating. There's too much uncertainty because, again, Nate and Natchez are redundant. That's just my theory. Okay. I don't know if I'm right because, again, there's too much talent. There is way too much talent out there. But hey, maybe they figure it out, and maybe this takes a stretch. And you know what? It'd be great if they figured it out in the playoffs. That's when this would become an issue. And you have until mid-April to figure this thing out, because guess what? You're that damn good. And at this rate, when you look at the schedule, you know, barring them just jamming their thumbs up their butt, there is nobody who's going to beat them except for Dallas. Maybe you're in Minnesota. Maybe you're in Vegas if Eichel's playing, if Theodore is playing. Maybe you're in Edmonton if they're humming. Short of something like that, you know, they got an East Coast road trip coming up. You know, Carolina, Florida, Tampa. Those are solid teams. You're on the road. Short of anything like that, this team's not losing to anybody unless they just take the night off. And you heard the metaphor I used. That's the only way you're losing to an inferior team right now.
Yeah, and I think the comments of it's been 2 years since the power play's been good. Spring and I went over those numbers a few shows ago, going back 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons and taking the entirety of power play percentages around the league in Colorado's top 5. If you just go back over the last 2 years, and this is including a god-awful power play this season, they're still the 9th best power play in the NHL, dating back to 2024. So the thought process of, oh, it's been terrible for 2 years. The stats tell you, no, you're wrong. I'm not explaining away how bad they are on the power play right now. Again, it feels as though it's the only thing you can get upset with them at, and they're so good that it doesn't matter. Now, what the best part is, and you guys who have listened to this show for now 8 seasons have understood that Spring and I like to, as I think most people should watch sports, we like to break down and watch and analyze sports and analyze this team in the most positive way possible because, well, it's entertaining, right? I don't watch hockey and don't watch sports to piss myself off after a day of work. Honestly, it's the reason why I work in sports media, is because my job doesn't piss me off. I think a lot of people should, when watching sports, watch it in a positive manner. My positive take on this is your power play sucking in December doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Your power play sucking in April and May and June, that's when it matters. You have so much time to figure this out.
They do. And, you know, look, if they're hell-bent on Nate and Nate just being out there together, I thought there were moments tonight, and there's been moments over the past few weeks where it has looked better. You know, Gabe Landeskog is firmly a top-line player now. Gabe Landeskog is firmly on power play 1, and his net front presence will pay off. They have gone with Brock Nelson on the right wing, and I do think that he is the best fit for that. Is, Natchez is going to float over to that right wing just because of, the redundancy of McKinnon and Natchez. But if the ideal setup is Nelson on that right wing, hey, guess what? You want to know who scored an awesome goal on the right wing tonight? Brock Nelson.
What a
And
great shot, man.
what a great
Brock,
shot.
I don't know if Billy Guerin keeps Brock Nelson off Team USA. I don't know what he's doing. Brock Nelson is playing fantastic hockey right now.
I talked about the curse of the 2C in the first few weeks of the season. And it's funny, it's so easy to just, come on a show like this after a game and they're the best team in the NHL, 2 regulation losses on the season. And it's just positive, positive, positive. Of course, we're going to nitpick. Of course, we're going to look at the negative. We focus on the power play. Early in the season, one thing we could have said was, well, Brock Nelson wasn't playing that well. What's going on with 2C? How come it just seems to be some sort of a curse since Nazem Kadri? Thought Casey Middlestat was going to be the answer.
Nope.
Young entering his prime. Yeah, dead no. It was a disaster, which sucks because there were a lot of indications and reasons to believe that could have worked out. Brock Nelson was as safe of a bet as you could have gotten at 2C. He's a veteran in his prime, solid, heady, knows how to play this game, multiple time 30-plus goal scorer in this league. And here in the month of December, let's see, 6 goals, 4 assists, 10
7
points
now. Tonight was his 7th in December.
7 goals. Look, man, he's coming. And it's as it should have been. Because as I just said, he was as safe of a bet as you could have had at 2C. He's beyond the prime of his career. He's a solid veteran. And you see the shot that he has, whether it's the little snapshot, wrist shot, or, he can rip that thing. He has some pace on his shots. So it's good to see that, the safe bet is paying off. Brock Nelson is playing great hockey right now.
I would continue to have him on power play 1. I wonder if he's the answer where Natchez stands. If you want to mix up McKinnon, Natchez, you do unfortunately miss the one-time opportunity from Mikko Rantanen. There aren't all that many left-handed one-time power play specialists that are out there on the trade block, but I'm sure if it's an issue for Chris McFarland, they will kick the tires around the league and see if they can find someone. Maybe if the New York Rangers continue to struggle, you can find someone there. Maybe if Toronto continues to struggle, you can find someone there. But again, the cap's going to be an issue, man. And I see, put Malinsky in there. It's another right-handed shot. That's the issue. Colorado has so many. I heard the other one. Throw Brent Burns in there. It's another right-handed shot. They have so many righties.
Yeah.
And it kind of kills them on the power play. I thought the Burns and Manson pairing were not good tonight. I thought they were very sloppy. They turned the puck over early. They turned over often, as good as that pairing has been, and they've been really good. I think I remember talking at the beginning of the season, Spring. I go, there's going to be some games where you see Josh Manson and Brent Burns, and you go, what the hell is happening with their puck possession? And you're going to be upset with it, and it's going to look ugly. And then when the playoffs come around, you're going to go, oh, I don't care about what happened in game 37.
But when does LA score tonight? They score on special teams.
Yep. Yeah, none of them went into the back of your net.
They score on a power play. They score shorthanded, and that's an indictment on the Avs power play, the shorthanded goal. At least the second, in just a few. They allowed a shorty recently. Can't even remember the game. It was Makar made a weird play in the neutral zone, and they got scored on shorthanded.
They almost let in 2 shorthanded goals tonight. Remember the Kevin Fiala breakaway?
Sure. They've had multiple because the woodshed has been so good this season. They've made multiple saves on breakaways on the kill or on the power play. It feels like they're on the kill when they're on the power play because they're allowing breakaways the other way. That's how LA scores tonight. is power play and shorthanded. This is the best 5-on-5 team in the league. Ultimately, they are going to need to get the power play going it's that second round matchup. I mean, that's the key, and it's likely going to be Dallas. And could that be the difference? But you would like to think that eventually, like, and you said it, it's something I believe in. There's regression, there's progression to the mean. And ultimately, the talent is too good, even if, I don't love the Natchez out there with McKinnon and the redundancy. They will figure it out. If that's what they're hell bent on, they will figure it out because there's too much talent and they will progress to the mean. LA is a good team. They're a solid above average team and they only score power play shorthanded tonight and you beat them 5-2. There's nothing you can complain about short of the power play, which is something that I really do believe will be figured out as we get to the back half of this season.
I also think playing tonight against LA and having seen Seattle and Utah in recent games, does it not scream to you how important the 1 seed is? Because those are the types of teams that you'll match up with in the first round. You'll get LA or San Jose or Utah or Seattle. One of those teams is going to be the 8 seed, more than likely. The old adage in the National Hockey League is nothing changes in the standings after American Thanksgiving. Most of those teams that are above the playoff line come American Thanksgiving stay in the playoffs. Now, there's a little bit of change, but most of the time, those are your playoff teams. It matters so much. Like a 7-game series against LA is a 4 or 5-game series. I firmly believe that for San Jose and for Utah and Seattle as well. Now, I've been burned before saying that about the Seattle Kraken actually on Seattle airwaves, and then we all know what happened in that series, 7 games all over.
Well, nobody could have forecasted, a hotel room visit and what else happened in that series.
And what it does, it was an atom bomb in the room. Like you can't, as much as I call these guys mutants, and they're also, mutant versions of humans, and emotions play a role.
Nobody's as locked in right now as Valerian Nichushkin, by the way.
Yeah, he looked pretty good.
He's locked in on the ice. His mentoring of Bardakov, and Bardakov's out right now. And now that everyone's healthy, but nobody's as I am confident in saying that that's over.
I love that. It's behind you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it screamed to me tonight, like you need to be the 1 seed so you can play a team like that and dance through the first round.
Bro, look, Minnesota tonight goes to Vegas, wins 5-2. The Central Division, those 3 teams, Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota, no Eichel, no Theodore, no Carlson. I mean, Vegas, they feel that. And that's part of the reason that Colorado was able to come back and win that game. And then Minnesota goes into Vegas and wins 5-2. Like, this division, it's almost stupid how it's not even close. The 3 best teams in the NHL are in this division. And that's even more so why it is so important to get the 1 seed. You're now 8 points clear of Dallas. You have a game in hand.
Isn't that nuts?
Play tonight.
Yep.
And you have a game in hand. Who does Dallas have next? I think they got to play tomorrow night.
I think Dallas plays tomorrow, Spring.
I'm going to look at it right now. I was actually peeking at the NHL scoreboard earlier for tomorrow night, but I forget.
Dallas does not play tomorrow. Dallas plays on New Year's Eve against...
They don't play tomorrow night.
No, but do you know who they play New Year's Eve? Arguably the hottest team in the National Hockey League.
I'm looking at it right now.
Coming off of their 9th straight victory, the red smoking hot Buffalo Sabres. Could the Buffalo Sabres make it 10 straight against Dallas?
Byram.
Dallas, Buffalo winning.
Or is it 9 straight? What's tonight? 9 straight?
It's 9 straight tonight with a 4-2 win over St. Louis.
Oh,
isn't that nuts? That team was so dead a month ago, and they are currently tied for the wild card 2 spot with the Florida Panthers.
Wow.
So sick.
And so Buffalo beats St. Louis in St. Louis tonight. That's who the Avs will host on New Year's Eve.
They're going to beat that ass. St. Louis is a bad hockey team, dude. A bad hockey team with a bad goalie with a bad attitude. The
Oh
only
my.
thing Jordan Binnington is playing for right now is to get himself healthy all the way until February when Team Canada has to take him to Italy because he's a big game goalie. He is going to get shelled on New Year's Eve.
I mean, it's tough to imagine. I think St. Louis is underperforming. They did trade like Zach Bolduc to I think the Senators, and he's been good for them. And it's like, what are you doing? What was that trade? And Binnington, no, the Canadiens. Even worse. I knew it was the Canadian team. And I don't even know what St. Louis got in return. Hadn't done crap for them, I'll say that. And Binnington's had a terrible season. They lose at home to Buffalo. Buffalo's red hot. That's who's coming on New Year's Eve.
New Year's
think
Eve.
That this team, who has not lost in regulation at home against an underperforming Blues team, is going to lose on New Year's Eve. You don't think that Nathan McKinnon wants to eat some vegetables when the clock strikes midnight? No, he's got his heart set on it.
I heard
Stars have to host the 9-game win streak Sabres. Oh, that's a fun New Year's Eve.
I heard, I think it was Spit and Chicklets. I'm almost positive it was Ryan Whitney or Biz talking about the Avs going, they are the Michael Jordan, I have to make up shit in my head to get up for games now. You don't have to make up anything for St. Louis. You know they're a bad team, but you also look at them and you go, I hate you. You look at the dude wearing number 50 on the other side of the ice going, I hate you. And I think that hatred is going to lead to an absolute piss pounding on the 31st.
Well, a couple things. I think St. Louis won the season series last year 3-1. I think it was 3-1. They beat the Avs last year. So you know that. You feel that. There's a strong carryover from last year to this year. There's a massive chip on this team's shoulder in general from last year to this year. And this has got to be a Scott Wedgwood start on New Year's Eve, right? And Probably. I mean, they've been alternating. They kind of threw us off with Wedgwood starting 2 straight over the holiday break.
Did you hear Bednar's response on why he did that tonight?
I mean, I saw Mosier's theory on it, him texting it to us, but what did Jared say?
Bedsy said he feels comfortable putting Wedgwood in a situation like that. And what the situation is day of travel. And the way that he went about it was McKenzie, his whole career basically has been a starter, right? Like he hasn't been able to stay healthy. And that's the reason why he never got like a full-time gig until he was in San Jose. And then certainly here, he goes, he's a starter, and number ones need to know when they're playing, and they typically need a day off in between starts so that they can start to get their head ready. And he goes, and guys who have been backups in this league are always ready to go at any given point, including day of travel. And he goes, we're traveling day of, couple of days off. I felt great giving it to a dude who is comfortable in any situation, and that's the reason why he went with Wedgwood in Vegas.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I actually did not realize that they traveled Saturday morning.
You're not allowed to travel. We're not allowed to travel until the 27th.
Yikes. Yeah, that actually, I you're right. I feel like I've heard that. And also Mosier, texted us and said, Wedgwood has very good career numbers against Vegas, and Blackwood does not. Although, and I get it. I don't hate it. My counter
doesn't help when you're a Shark playing in Vegas for most of those starts.
There's that. And I would say, look, at some point, Mackenzie Blackwood's going to have to play well against Vegas because they are one of the upper echelon teams in the NHL, although not quite on the level of the freaking top of the Central Division, which is insane right now. But if you're Scott Wedgwood and you're getting that start on New Year's Eve, and New Year's Eve is a big night. I love nights like that. Like those are nights. People are out. It's a big night.
It's a wild crowd.
Yes,
that crowd is liquored up.
Remember, are they going to do that freaking indoor fireworks show that they did on New Year's Eve pass? Maybe
Didn't they
not.
beat the living crap out of St. Louis on New Year's Eve a few years ago?
I remember one against Toronto.
I'm almost positive they hammered St. Louis one of these years over the past like 3, 4, 5 seasons. I'm almost
They
positive.
may have. They may have. But it's a big New Year's Eve. If you're at home, that's a huge night. So I think Wedgwood's going to get that start. And he deserves it. I thought Blackwood was very good tonight, and Blackwood's been very good the past 2-3 weeks. Obviously, Scott Wedgwood's been good all season when Blackwood was hurt and extending until now. Didn't have his best start in Vegas. Avs bailed him out, got the win. Wedgwood deserves this start. And you're going against Jordan Binnington, Team Canada guy. And you have an opportunity here, head-to-head, Wedgwood versus Binnington, to have the superior start. And if I'm an Avs skater in front of Scott Wedgwood, I am making it an extra point. There is an added emphasis to absolutely annihilate Jordan Binnington, to rock that save percentage and that goals against average, and to help my goaltender behind me to have the best possible start. Or at the end of the night, if you're the Team Canada officials, executives, and you look at that game, it is undeniable which goaltender had the better performance and which goaltender deserves to be on that Team Canada roster.
I hope to God they do. I hope to God, because I have this really sneaking, ugly feeling that not one of them is going. And both of them, both Wedgwood and Blackwood, should be there. I have a really sneaky feeling that
I have the same feeling you do.
That they're going to go Binnington, Thompson, and like Montembeault, or I don't know if they could do this. It would be horrible PR. Hart. I have this really sneaking feeling that somehow both of those goaltenders, Blackwood and Wedgwood, are going to get held off of Hockey Canada. And again, I'm going to go as an American, thank God, right? As an American hockey fan, I don't want Wedgwood or Blackwood there because they're better goalies.
Yeah. Man, it's almost inexcusable to not take one of them as the third. Because there's not, when you look at the top three, there's nobody. Carter Hart, look, I said it, man. I didn't think he was good in that Knights game. I really didn't. I thought his positioning, his play overall, it wasn't just that the Avs had these shots where it was like, oh, Carter Hart can't stop that. No, I thought that Carter just did not play well. But you're right. There, for some reason, it feels like they're not giving these two their due. I don't know what it is, but it just feels like Team Canada's goaltending room is just already set. Like they made their decision over the summer and they're not adjusting it.
Yep.
It's
and you know
weird.
what's crazy? You know what's crazy is that, the American goaltending room has changed multiple times over the past few years. And for a while, like Thatcher Demko was going to be the third American goalie, and I don't think he's making the team. They've looked and they've gone Hellebuck. They'll find like Swayman may have been the third goalie this year. Jake Ottinger's certainly going to make that team, but like I think the U.S. is more in tune with we're going to find the goalies who are playing their best right now rather than the dudes that we just like have to rely upon because they've always been in the red, white, and blue pipeline. Now, I think that's what Hockey Canada is doing is they look around, they go, well, we don't have a stud right now, or not right now. We haven't had a stud consistently over the past few years, dating back to Carey Price, right? That's probably the last like stud that they've had. So then they go, well, who's played for us in the past before? And that's who they're going to go with. And I think it would be a huge mistake for Hockey Canada.
Yeah, and as you said, it's good news for the US because I don't see, I know, and I've even deemed him big game Binnington because look, he's proved it. What he did at the Four Nations was excellent. And
there's no denying it.
And you've seen how he's played overall in the playoffs and certainly that Stanley Cup final, although we're like 6 years removed from that now, which is crazy how time flies like that. If they go Binnington, they're going to get rocked. They're going to get lit up. And they're going to rue not bringing one, if not both, of the Avs goaltenders.
I've heard the argument for Wedgwood over Blackwood, not because he's the better goaltender, because I think McKenzie's the better goaltender with the higher ceiling and the higher like all-star potential. I've heard the argument for Wedgwood over Blackwood because of kind of what Jared Bednar said regarding the Vegas game. He goes, it's been a career backup. He's ready whenever you need. Like if Binnington shows up and they lose to the Czechs in game 1, like 4-3, and he lets up 4 on 22, and the entire nation of Canada is panicking, they get to go to Wedgie and go, you've been here before, step in, dude. And then he'll throw up a game where they play the Swedes and they win 3-1 with an empty netter, and he stops 28 of 29, and he'll be cool with like maybe not starting the next game. I've heard that argument is like, you want your third goalie to be a backup, not a bona fide starter coming in off the bench cold.
Like I just said, I could see Binnington getting rocked. And so therefore, who are you going to go to? Now, knowing Team Canada and the way that they appear to be operating, they'll go to Logan Thompson. But you should go to Scott Wedgwood. Look, Logan Thompson is a really good story. You know, he's a former Knights goalie. He's a former like Jets goalie who was nothing. Logan Thompson was nothing. But those are the stories, and especially for Scott Wedgwood. Like a guy who worked his way up and earned a position. Those are the types of dudes that can help you win gold. So I suppose I could say the same thing about Logan Thompson. I really could, but even more so about Scott Wedgwood. I mean, he's been as overlooked could possibly be. He would be a breath of, and he's a great locker room guy. He's a great
locker room guy. You want that dude in the Olympic Village so badly,
right?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I mean, so hey, I mean, it gives more juice to the Binnington versus Wedgwood matchup. I'm expecting Wedgwood on New Year's Eve. That's going to be very interesting to watch.
You know what they should do? Just play both of them. Play Wedgie for the first half of the game like you're a U12 team and go, we have to play Johnny Q Smith the next night or half the game because our parents are going to get mad at us as coaches. You play Wedgie for the first half, you play Blackie for the second half, you win 5-1 or 5-0 against St. Louis, and then you look at Hockey Canada, who has to come out with their roster just hours later and go, we dare you not to pick them.
Hey, they might mercy rule those dudes to the point where you're rolling out Blackwood and it's just like, wait, I thought the other team was supposed to pull their goaltender.
No, we got it. We'll do it tonight.
No, the Avs
we'll try and do it on the fly. We'll give you a chance to score into an empty net. We'll do it on the fly.
On the fly would be hilarious. No, that's just toying with those dudes.
All right, Spring. It's getting late out here. I've got a long drive home. I think we've talked enough. The game tonight it's so funny. They're so good. They're boring.
LA is
why I don't want to talk about tonight's game.
Like the Kings are a good team, but we all knew, especially when I saw Anton Forsberg starting, it's like, there's no way. And that's a good team. But there are levels, like they're above average. Above average isn't good enough. You have to be elite. The only teams coming into Ball Arena, if the Avs are on their game that are beating them, are Dallas, Minnesota,
Carolina,
Florida.
Florida.
If they're
those
healthy,
types of teams.
Vegas and Edmonton, that's about the list. And even then, it's tough for them.
Yeah, I could see him doing it once, but 4 times in a 7-game series against this team, how they're playing right now.
Yeah, and they're on track to have home ice in every single series, so good times.
Task. All right, Avs don't play again until New Year's Eve. Spring will be your network host that evening on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. So I'll have you guys doing pregame show and intermissions and postgame like I did tonight on 9:50, and then Spring and I will come online about 9 or 9:30 on New Year's Eve to do a little between the pipes wrap up before you guys go off for your midnight celebrations But that'll do it for us. For spring, I'm Raj. Avs win yet again. Shocker. What's new? 16-0-2 at home. 14 straight victories at Ball Arena in front of the Mile High faithful. They continue to be the best hockey team on earth, and they do not stop. We'll talk to you guys on New Year's Eve.